Kinley, here at Kadesh in the desert of Paran, where Moses and the people of Israel are getting ready for the race to the promised land.
That's right, Tiffany. This promises to be a thrilling event. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Israelites are gathered here, the same people who escaped from Egypt, where they were treated like slaves, were they not?
That is correct. Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, did not want to let the people go, which was a major obstacle. But God was with Moses and the people. So kablamo, the people got out of there.
What an incredible turn of events. But speaking of obstacles, the Israelites faced more than their fair share of obstacles in the wilderness too. Like, remember the time when they hit the Red Sea?
Whew, who could forget? The people thought they were done for, but God showed up and made a way for them to move forward so that they could enter the land that God promised their ancestors a long time ago.
And that's why we're here today, just moments from entering the promised land. So, Tiffany, what can we expect from the people today?
Well, Kinley, it looks like Moses is once again in the lead, sending some men to spy on the land of Canaan.
I can't say that's a bad idea. Scouting out the land to see what they're up against is a solid plan. Let's pause here and find out more in Numbers 13, 18 through 20.
Did you check out what Numbers 13, 18 through 20 said? We'll have to see how successful they are at collecting this information. And they're off, and we'll be right back after these commercials.
Do you have stinky and gross hair? Huh? Do people ever look at you and say, "Ew, you have stinky and gross hair"?
Why are you asking me that?
Then try this Tea Tree Special Shampoo. It's got a special invigorating cleanser to make your hair awesome and cool, just like mine. Now in regular and spicy tingle.
And we're back at the race to the promised land, and the Israelites are back from their 40 days of checking out Canaan.
The reports are in. Let's read it together. Numbers 13:27. We went to the land where you sent us. It truly flows with milk and honey, and this is its fruit.
Well, that might be so, Kinley, and one of the spies named Caleb certainly thinks it's possible to make their way into the land. But it looks like the majority of them don't agree. You see, let's go ahead and check out what Numbers 13, 31 through 33 says.
That is rotten luck. I guess they weren't destined for the promised land after all.
Not so fast, Kinley. It looks like Moses, Aaron, Caleb, and Joshua, another spy, have something to say. We can check that out in Numbers chapter 14, verses 7 through 9. Go ahead and follow along with me. And they said to the entire Israelite assembly, "The land we passed through and explored is exceedingly good. If the Lord is pleased with us, he will lead us into the land, a land flowing with milk and honey, and will give it to us. Only do not rebel against the Lord, and do not be afraid of the people of the land, because we will devour them. Their protection is gone, but the Lord is with us. Do not be afraid of them."
While I must say, with everything that God has done for the Israelites, they are the favorites to win here. If God could get them out of Egypt and across the Red Sea, this wouldn't even be that big of an obstacle. As long as they stay on the right track with God, promised land is theirs to lose.
You can say that again. Stay tuned as we follow the progress towards the finish line at
The
Race to the Promised Land. If you've ever seen a professional auto race, you might have seen safety cars come out into the track whenever some kind of obstacle disrupts the race. You might have even seen law enforcement do that to cars or motorcycles driving in a zigzag to get everyone to slow down. It's important for all drivers to heed the warnings of those safety cars because they don't know what kind of danger might lie ahead. Let's check out this clip.
If an incident or inclement weather, say heavy rain, prevents normal racing from continuing safely, the race director will call for a safety car period. When the order is given to deploy the safety car, the message, "Safety car deployed," will be sent to all competitors via official messaging system. All FIA light panels will display the letters SC, and all marshals posts will display waved yellow flags and SC boards for the duration of the intervention.
And that's kind of like what God does for us. When we seek God first instead of going head first into something or swerving off course to avoid obstacles on our own, God helps those obstacles to no longer be a problem because obstacles
Are no problem for God. Let's check out highlights from today's race.
It's time for today's Bible story, and it comes from the book of Numbers, chapter 13 and 14. God's people, the Israelites, wandered a very long time and in the desert. God had a promised land for them to live in, and it was almost time for them to get there and for God's promises to come true. God told Moses to send a team to explore the promised land, which was called Canaan. The team explored Canaan for 40 days. When they came back, they reported good news first. The land was flowing with milk and honey, and it definitely had fruit. They showed everyone grapes, pomegranates, and figs they picked. The team started to give the not so good news. There were people who lived in Canaan who were very big and powerful. They had very large cities and very big walls. One man named Caleb spoke up and said, "We can do it. We can take over the land." But the other explorers were afraid. So Caleb and another brave explorer named Joshua got everyone's attention and said that the promised land is a wonderful land that God was giving them. They didn't need to be afraid. God was with them. Going against the people in Canaan seemed like a huge obstacle for the Israelites. But Caleb and Joshua reminded everyone that God is bigger than any obstacle. The same thing goes for us. Sometimes things seem too big for us, but we can know that obstacles are no problem for God.
Hebrews 10:23. Let us hold unswervingly to the hope we profess, for he who promised is faithful.